What's up, guys? We're Past Pop Culture. My name is Ricky with my co-host here, Mrphen.
Howdy.
And today we got a few things to talk about. We're going to go over this new One Punch Man game that's the trailer just dropped. It's kind of leaving everyone a little bit kind of confused. We're going to talk a little bit about Xbox Live Gold being, discontinued permanently, essentially. It's just everything's being covered into Xbox core, so they're just changing things around. We don't really know how this is going to affect the Xbox 360, and then also Xbox did actually come to an agreement with how Call of Duty will be handled on Sony's side. So, and yeah, we'll be going over a couple other things like some James Gunn's opinion on why superhero movies right now are flopping. So we'll discuss all that really quick, but I want to get into the One Punch Man thing because to me, I think this is kind of stupid. I wasn't too into it. People are saying, oh, well, it's also mobile based. So it's the best way to describe it is if you guys ever played the DC Universe Online back in the day, right?
Yep.
It was just oh, you went around, you beat some stuff up. It's like that, but if you never got to make your character and instead you just played as the One Punch Man characters. So that's essentially what we're getting. Because I tried seeing if going hey, are we making our own characters and you're climbing your way through, the ranks and stuff like that, the Hero Association and all that. No, it just seems like you're just playing as characters from season 1 and you're just playing through the manga / anime. That's from what my understanding is. That's what seems to be the understanding in the comment sections. Everyone's okay, cool, but just get us another season of the anime. That's really what we want. A lot of people were pretty disappointed with the first game that they did. That people were it wasn't that great. They're kind of expecting more stuff. Some people really liked it. Some people didn't. I don't know, but I never got to play it, so I can't really give my opinion. But it's, So if a lot of people are saying it's a bad game, it's probably a bad game. But yeah, so they did that Overwatch 2 crossover and stuff like that. So hopefully this does mean, since they're making a game, they did the crossover. Hopefully this just means we're getting another season later down the road. I don't know. A lot of people were pretty disappointed with season 2. So they may just be scared to throw out another season, but they still want to milk it however they can. We'll see. But
piece of junk game.
I don't know. It just it didn't look too interesting to me. I might try it if there's interest, right? If you guys are hey, try it out, we'll probably try it out. Give a little review on it.
We won't get mad if they don't say that, right?
Yeah. But the thing that's kind of getting really interesting right now, because we're going to kind of shift into movies really quick, is that we're seeing that Zack Snyder's Justice League trailer got quietly removed from their official trailer websites and official trailer YouTube channel, and they're kind of trying to get rid of the Snyderverse Justice League and the European I guess I think
it's gone in Europe already.
Versions. I think it's already gone in Europe, so you can't stream it. So you'd have to use
VPN,
some sort of VPN or something like that to access it. Which people are hey, why are you getting rid of it? And so people are still kind of hoping hey, just let Zack Snyder finish his vision. But I think we're kind of discussing I think we should just move on at this point, right? Because they're not going to bring back Henry Cavill, right? They're not going to and then it's just especially all the controversy that's happened because
with everybody,
Josh Whedon or whatever his name was, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone's pretty unsatisfied, and it's you know what? Let's just kind of start over. That's how I kind of view it. So as much as I like Snyder's Justice League, I think we're going to have to kind of move on with James Gunn's vision. And with James Gunn basically kind of coming out, talking about why some of the recent movies have been kind of flops, right? And superhero movies specifically, I should say, have been kind of flops, is basically he's just there's no love for the art, essentially. They're just putting out a sequel to put out a sequel. There's no story. There's no mission. There's no nothing, right? That's essentially reason. I'm paraphrasing him. There's no reason why these movies exist. They're not trying to do anything new or exciting. They're just hey, it makes money. Let's go. And so, I mean, we've been basically have been saying that, right? the last Guardians movie, the Guardians 3, was really good. I think it was a good send off. But just like everything else kind of around it has kind of just like failed. I don't know. It's kind of weird because it was like everyone went into Guardians just not expecting that. And everyone was like, wow, that was magnificent.
Some would say the old school Marvel.
Yeah, like everyone was like, what was this? I'm crying and laughing at the same time. People are like hysterical over how great the movie was, right? And then people are just like, so what's going on here, Marvel? Like, what's up? like, okay, there's clearly still room to tell really good stories and really heartfelt stories, right? Like, if you would have told me, oh man, I was gonna get sad because, you know, like a bunny and like all, like what was it, a walrus and an otter,
ferret or something. Oh yeah, it's an otter.
Like an otter or a ferret or something. Like I was gonna be like really like sad. I know, because even I told my dad, I'm like, that was pretty sad. And he's like, yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
It was kind
of like people in the theater were like crying, right? So it's like it was a really impactful movie. And then it's like, what was that before? Like Ant-Man 3? Like, you know,
the ants. Well, see, that's what I hate, because I think I mentioned it on our Guardians review, but I think the movie was so good because it didn't feel like it was a part of like the Marvel universe, and like it just put heavy emphasis on the story of literally all the characters, and it's like it made you feel bad for Rocket Raccoon or whatever his name is, and it's like, you know, with She-Hulk, it's just like, hey, I'm gonna twerk, you know? It's
like, well, it's like it was a really good, like, the characters you really cared about everything that was going on around them. Yeah. I mean, like, you know, you had Star-Lord basically just struggling with addiction, right? Like that's essentially what he's doing.
He's depressed.
He's depressed, and it was so weird because it's like they handled that so much better than Thor's struggle. Right?
Yeah, where he just got fat.
Where he's like, oh, he just got fat, and then he just was like a joke character. Yeah. And like, you know, everyone around him died, but you know, they just like it just didn't really feel like genuine the way that they used his anguish, right? Yeah, his brother died saving him just as he got him back, right?
Yeah, so let's make him a joke. Like what?
Yeah, and it's like, but like they very easily could have, because they still, I mean, Star-Lord still could have been a joke thing, right? You know, he's still reeling from losing Gamora. He's still reeling from all these things that have happened, but it was handled very maturely, right? Yeah. Just these other movies aren't, right? So it is true what James Gunn saying. It's like there's no love for it. There's no nothing here. It's just you're just putting it out to put it out. And then people don't care. And it's like, oh, what'd you expect? The movie was going to just do good? And which is true, right? Like, because there have been movies like for a while where they just put it out and people are watching it. But it's just so weird because it's like now, like, because I just saw Mission Impossible last night, the new one. Was it like Ghost or
Final Protocol or something?
Yeah, Death Protocol, Ghost Protocol. Wait, no, that's Ghost Recon or whatever it is. But anyways, the newest one, right? Really good. Right? Don't ask me the title, but it was really good. And I was sitting there and I was like, wow, like this was a movie. Like it was really good. Like now, was it the best cinematic character-driven thriller? No, it was like it's a Mission Impossible movie. But I would say it's probably one of the better Mission Impossibles where I'm gonna go see the second one. Right? Like this is Mission Impossible at its peak. It is Tom Cruise at his peak right here. Like it was really good. And it was just because it's like you just have to actually try, right? Like it's the same reason when like Top Gun Maverick, right?
Yep.
When they actually tried to make a good follow-up, oh wow, people really enjoyed it, and it was the best movie for like 6 months to a year, right? Like it just couldn't get beat. People were going to rewatch it multiple times because it was like finally a movie, right? Like, and that's what people want. They want a movie, and it's like, and then the same thing with Mission Impossible. It was a movie, right? Like I sat there and I was like, wow, this is cool, right? Like there's cool action sequences. It wasn't done in a lazy way, right?
Yeah.
Like it was like the audience was actually like, hey, you guys don't have brain rot. Okay, TikTok brain or whatever, you know, you want to call it.
We're humans, is what they said.
Yeah, like you guys can understand more than like, you know, second grade entertainment. You know, it's like, and that's the thing. It's like they make these movies, unfortunately, because it does appeal to the lowest common denominator. Right, a lot of the times where they're just like, oh, let's just do whatever. Right, superhero movies, that's popular. Let's do it. Everyone likes superhero movies. But it's like they forget like why people like superhero movies.
Yeah.
So it's like they just try to get as many people to go, and then nobody goes because it's like, well, you're not appealing to anybody or anything. You're just appealing to people's money, I guess. Like, yeah, you're just, and it's like it's the same thing. Like Indiana Jones, right? It pretty much failed. It's a flop, and they spent like $1 bajillion on it, right? Disney lost a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I wonder why we lost all this money. And then it's like,
you guys don't like indie?
Yeah. And it's like, well, gosh. You know, it's a lazy follow up to a follow up that people thought was lazy back then. But like if I kind of have a feeling like if what was it, the Crystal Skull or whatever it was, that the last one with Shia LaBeouf that they did.
Oh my, that one doesn't exist.
Yeah. I have a feeling though, if you put the new one and that, like if you put that one now, people would probably be more receptive to it.
I don't know about that. That's a bold statement.
If you have the new one, I haven't seen it, but like the reaction to the new one has just been absolute vomit. People are probably looking back on it right now and being like, you know what, it really wasn't that bad, right? Because it was a bad movie, but I don't know, like people, like I haven't seen the new one, but people are like, this is absolute garbage. Like I have not. I mean, it's. And then same thing, like, well, I like the Flash movie that came out. A lot of people didn't like it, but it just flopped absolutely, right?
Big time.
It just flopped big time, right? So now we're all standing around like, okay, you know, James Gunn did have a little bit of a hand in the Flash movie, right? So, but I just don't think DC has any goodwill left. And because of, well, you know, the leading character, I think that was like the leading actor, I should say. That was why people probably didn't want to go watch it because they didn't want to support it, which I understand.
Yeah.
But it's like you have all these things that are coming out, and it's just a lot of times like now I think Hollywood in general just has to win the audience back.
They have to because they just treat us like trash, and then like I mean, okay, I watch pretty much every movie that almost comes out, so I shouldn't be saying this, but it's like I think they have to start treating us viewers as, like you said, like people. And it's like we're not asking for the greatest story ever, you know, we're not asking for the next, you know, Christopher Nolan Inception's like movie or whatever. It's just like, it has to just like treat us with respect, you know. We have more than 2 brain cells, like you said, you liked Mission Impossible. It's not going to be the greatest story ever, but it can still be fun, right? And it's like
it was a good action movie. It was exactly.
It was like, and like Top Gun Maverick, it wasn't like the best story ever, but it was still fun. And it was a good like action movie. And it's like in terms of superhero movies, it's like they don't have to always be all, you know, mushy gushy with feelings and stuff. It's like, let's just have, you know, the good guy versus bad guy, you know, build a little bit of character with them, and then just, you know, make the movie. That's why like Man of Steel was such a good movie, is because it said, here's Superman, this is why you're gonna feel bad for him and like why he has a choice, but let's throw in the action. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, and I think it's hard because it's like, now we're kind of sitting here like, there's so much of it, and then it's like, okay, well, we're gonna be a little bit pickier now, and they're like, oh, well, we don't know what to do now, and it's like, well, what do you mean? Just make something good? And they're like, what? Throw $100 million at something that you know will fail, and then like that, I don't know, they're money laundering at this point, right? I don't know. It's like sometimes it's like, why are these budgets just like absolutely ballooning? You know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't understand. Like what like they're just like, oh, we're gonna do like a simple movie, and it's like, oh, that's $100 million. It has to be that like if it's not in the top 10 like highest grossing movie, then you know what? We're just gonna lose money on it, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, like sometimes things are just made for the art, right? Like and that's City. Fine. Like, yeah, like they know it's not gonna make a bunch of money, but it's like sometimes things are just done for the sake of art, and like that's fine. Like.
But those are always good movies. Like almost like 9 times out of 10, they're really good movies.
Yeah, what's his name? From Fight Club, he was in it. Edward Norton.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I actually lost money on the movie. Like they paid me a little bit, but I lost money because he was fine with it. He was like, no, I don't care. Like,
yeah, now look what happened, right?
They were doing some like interview or something like that, and he was like, oh yeah, I lost money on it. Like, like same thing with Scarlett Johansson. She was like, oh no, like I took a huge pay cut, and she's like, she just wanted to be in the movie, and it was just like a cool thing, and it was like, oh okay, like there's still art for movies. It's like it's fine. It's like not everything has to be a superhero blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
And then not everything has to be like super high indie art. Like, oh, you don't get it, man. It's about depression. It's like the soul of humanity.
You don't get
it's
the
like,
vibe.
It's like not everything. It's like sometimes you can just make a decent movie where people go, and it's in budget, right? And then people enjoy it, right? Like people enjoy it, and that's what Top Gun Maverick did, and that's what Mission Impossible did. They're like, we're gonna make something people are gonna enjoy. Good action sequences. We're going to cut out a lot of the fluff, and we're going to do a lot of things. And it's just like, it's cool, right? Like, you got fighter pilots, or you got spy stuff, right? Like, I'm not saying it's easy, right? But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of good talent there that, it's just getting squandered in these, like, super high, like, balloon-sized budget movies that nobody even wants to see in the first place, right? Because when Indiana Jones got announced, everyone was like, why? I don't want to see this. No one's going to see this. And they're like, yes, we're gonna put so much money into this. Like, same thing, like all the Pixar stuff is failing. Like, if you'd have told me 10 years ago Pixar's failing,
we would have laughed.
You would have been like, you're on crack.
That's right.
You're on crack. It's like, no, it's like, yeah, but Pixar now has like had like 2 or 3 movies in a row flop.
And
it's just like, yeah, like I can't, like, I don't know, they had some Kraken. And then they had that
elemental, or was it
the elemental one? And it's just like there's not that Pixar love. I don't know if it's just Disney being like, you're gonna have to soullessly grind out these movies, right? Because they have made good ones. Like there was like Soul. Soul was good.
Soul was very.
I enjoyed that one. That one made me tear up a little. And I was like, yeah, it's like they can still make good stuff, but it's just like sometimes like.
They gotta slow it down, is what I say.
Yeah, it's like, but like people are just not enjoying these things. I think it's so weird because it's like there's so much stuff coming out, but there hasn't been like a Hollywood blockbuster movie necessarily, right? Like
since
like
Top
the
Gun.
one since Top Gun, or even before Top Gun, there really wasn't that. Like Mission Impossible or Oppenheimer and Barbie are probably like the closest you get. But like everyone was like, but like with Top Gun, everything was like, go back to the movie theaters and watch it. Like everyone went and watched it, right? Like you don't have like even
culture was formed
movies,
around
right?
it.
Yeah, like every guy was just getting a mustache and shades, right? Like that was like the trend for the longest time because it was like it even changed like kind of like male fashion for a little bit, but so it was really influential and everyone enjoyed it, right? So yeah, it's just kind of interesting how like we're really sitting here in like this whole abundance of movies and it's just garbage, right? Like it's kind of sad, right? Like most of it is, it's pretty bad. But to kind of quickly go like just switch over to like the video game sides of things because we'll stay on this topic for forever. Basically, Xbox Live Gold being changed, discontinued. I think, oh man, I can't remember the date off the top of my head. It's gonna be September 14th. So that everything's kind of being collapsed all together. It's going to go into like the core aspect of the Game Pass, right? So you get the online console multiplayer, and then you get like 25 games, and then you get some discounts. It's it's pretty similar and in line with everything else, but that's really it. It's gonna be $10. Yeah, it's gonna be like $10 a month or like $60 for a year or something like that. And it's it's not too big of a change. It shouldn't affect Xbox 360, but I think most people are kind of past that.
Did you hear about the guy about Xbox Live? I guess he won Xbox Live Forever. And so it even said on his account that expires in like 2,843 or something. So he's trying to figure out like, wait, do I still get it for free for my life, or because it was only for Xbox Live, not Xbox.
Oh, so they just did it to screw over that one guy.
It's just kind of bad for him because he has like a little plaque and everything, and now I'm just like, oh, can't use it now.
That's kind of sad. I was like, oh, honestly, they probably totally forgot about that. You know what I mean?
They're like, oh, shoot.
I have a feeling they just didn't even remember they did that.
I feel bad for that guy. He needs like a special award or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they just give him a new plaque.
Yeah.
They take the old plaque, give him the new one. No,
It's the same one.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
That's kind of funny though. But yeah, so basically, it seems like Microsoft's going to kind of win though, with a lot of their FTC stuff merging with Activision, Blizzard, all that stuff going on. It seems like they're pretty much moving forward. You had Sony come out and really was firing towards Xbox. Xbox fired back, right? Saying that, well, Sony's actively trying to impede because they're not willing to come to the table, sign a deal. So there was a lot of shots fired and stuff, and how that Sony was also anti-competition, right? Like there was a whole thing. I think we went over a lot of that stuff a couple podcast episodes ago. But basically, finally, Sony came to the table. They signed a deal for Call of Duty with Microsoft. So this deal, nobody really knows what it does, what it's doing. But assuming that the deal is to let Call of Duty stay on Sony's PlayStation.
Yep.
We already have a lot of the old Call of Duty games up for the Game
Xbox
Pass.
360, yep.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of fun, and I kind of want to get an Xbox.
Yeah, and that's something we were kind of discussing, where it's like, well, if the old Call of Duties are coming back, and then you're going to have the new ones, right? Like, and then it's probably going to go to Game Pass, or there's going to be some sort of discount, or, Microsoft's going to have their own thing where, like, it's going to kind of incentivize you to probably stay in the Xbox ecosystem or PC to buy it on their stuff, right? So I don't really see Call of Duty moving forward a lot with Sony. So I don't know. Sony's really going to have to figure out what they're going to do, because Call of Duty is pretty big, even though, yes, year over year we are losing players.
It's still huge, though.
It's still pretty huge, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe I think we'll find out what happens. Oh my gosh.
PlayStation exclusive. I'm calling it here.
That'd be a power play, because that game is real popular.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny though how all this has kind of turned out, but yeah, Sony's finally signing the deal. I think they're like, hey, you know what? It seems like we're gonna lose, and Sony has taken an L, I think, on a lot of this Call of Duty stuff.
Yeah,
because it's
Microsoft
like,
wins.
oh shoot, Microsoft does win on this one. Sony's really gonna have to start pumping out those exclusives, really keeping a good reason why to stay in their ecosystem, because if not, Microsoft could really come back with a vengeance this generation.
Well, they're gonna win with Call of Duty, because fun fact, there's more people playing the old school Call of Duties than Halo Infinite and Battlefield combined. And now Microsoft officially has basically Call of Duty with them. So so that's the thing, is that Sony kind of got screwed because Battlefield just absolutely decided to eat like trash and decided to like give up. Yep.
Like, people play it, but no one's like, it was for the longest time, it was the Battlefield versus Call of Duty rivalry, right? It was like, oh, which one's better? Which one's better? Now everyone's like, dude, you play Battlefield? Like, you know what I mean? Like
cringe.
Oh, no, it's pretty fun. And it's like, oh, well, I played like the older ones. Oh, okay. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But it's like, you play the new ones? All right, man. Like, all right, I guess. Like,
do you need some
most
help?
people are just not. Yeah, like, people are doing a wellness check on you. Like, it's kind of one of those things where now it's like, all right, like Battlefield's pretty much dead. If they come out with another one, they're probably not. No one's gonna want to get it, right?
They would have the biggest chonies if they decided, hey, we're gonna have another one.
Yeah, they would have to try to come up with something like just insane, absolutely insane.
Weather plus rocks.
Yeah. What? There's a tornado, and that's like your biggest gimmick? Wow.
Wow, look at the rain.
And it's like, all right. So, I mean, Call of Duty has so many problems. Don't get me wrong.
It's still
and
good,
like we play it, but it's still good in many ways, and it's really your only option in terms of like mainstream FPS that doesn't get into like, I guess more. It's like a casual. Call of Duty is casual. There is that competitive scene, but it's like, it's still a little more on the casual side where you can pick it up and enjoy it. But yeah, like. Because like Rainbow Six Siege and all those other ones, they're a little bit more
sweaty.
Yeah, That's the better way to put it. But yeah, like especially since they're just like bringing out a lot of the old games.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh, well, why even play Battlefield? You know, like all the old Call of Duties. Yeah, it's like it's everyone's having a lot of fun and bringing it back. But yeah, so unfortunately, Sony is kind of losing. So we're gonna have to see how that goes for them.
Goodbye, PlayStation 5.
Yeah. The last thing basically being on this list is kind of just a funny one, is that how Assassin's Creed Mirage they created a haptic feedback suit. So it's like if you get stabbed in the game, you'll kind of feel that in real life. So it's in collaboration with, I don't know how to say it. It's like Uwu, I don't know. So it's kind of a sick jacket, vest, shirt thing.
It looks really cool.
But it does look pretty cool. But I don't know, like it's just kind of like a funny gimmick kind of thing. I don't even know how much it's gonna go for retail or anything, or how you're gonna even be able to get it.
What if you die to fall damage? Like you just fall off your chair.
It just like becomes like a gravity suit, just and you just fall back.
Chair snaps in half.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny.
Yeah, they're gonna have a caution sign on that piece of shirt.
Nah, yeah, that would be pretty funny. Like you have to there's you just have to get like a carabiner and just like so that it just like yanks you back, and
anchor yourself,
and then you gotta like stand back up. Same thing. Yeah.
That's funny.
But
interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty much just kind of like our joke thing, because it's a little sad everything that's going on this podcast episode.
I know.
But yeah, I think that kind of covers it, unless you got any last remarks.
No, this Call of Duty is dead. Just kidding, it's not dead. I don't know. I'm kind of happy that this is my thinking. Next Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 3, is going to be on Game Pass for free. I'm calling it.
Modern Warfare 3, Game Pass for free?
Yep. Calling it.
Yeah, I can see it. That'd be a pretty big power move.
They have what?
Because it's like
3 months? Like, they have 3 months, right? So.
Like a day one thing, like just a day one drop would be pretty like, oh,
I would love
sorry,
that.
Sony. Everyone's gonna leave.
Well, unless the deal says that
I have to imagine the deal, right? Like you're about to say, the deal. I was gonna say, I don't know. Maybe the deal says they can't do that.
Yeah.
There's like no way they're just gonna allow that.
I think they would make so much more money if it was free. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think yes and no, because then people would just be so much more willing to get the Game Pass, the Battle Pass, and then like
skins
DLCs and stuff. Yeah.
Ooh, we're gonna find out in like 2 months, because I think they're gonna announce Modern Warfare 3 in August, so I think we'll find out then.
Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if we eat our words or not. But if you enjoyed today's episode, let us know down in the comment sections below if you're listening on YouTube, and make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you're on your preferred podcast listening platform, drop a like, a thumbs up, a heart, good comment, however it works on there. We very much appreciate any and all support. Also, if you want to know when we go live, because we do stream on Twitch, we do stream a lot of Call of Duty, a lot of other indie games and stuff like that too. Twitch.tv/PastPopCulture. We also are on Kick as well, if you want to check out our stream there, which is Past Pop Culture as well. And if you want to follow us to let us know, we can let you know, sorry, about when we're going live, and also just to see a lot of the clips that we end up putting up, a lot of little funny clips, at Past Pop Culture, pretty much on everything, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, however it works, whatever you prefer. You can always check us out there. We let you guys know when we are going live, and that's on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So yeah, thanks guys for listening.
Bye.